Then there are the birthers, laughable from the moment they open their mouths, proffering a conspiracy that somehow began with the placement of birth notices in 2 Hawaiian newspapers 48 years ago this month. But people who do not want this president to be president will believe anything. And that is meat for fading commentators like Lou Dobbs, whatever he actually believes, because the birther movement touches another essential part of the defective soul, the need for an excuse. For they need to convince themselves in an immense conspiracy, and place that conviction as a barrier between their actions and the sad reality that they are not the victims of intricate machinations against freedom, but that they are just garden variety, ordinary racists, that they can handle the most limited of integration only in theory. It will take anything that will let them pretend that when they burst into tears and cry that they want their America back, they are not asking for white power, not asking that somebody make the black man in the White House go away. There are other instigators, of course, so obvious, so careless, knowing so well that anybody who desperately wants to believe lies will not even notice the truth standing next to them wearing a big red neon sign. Like the just a mom from a few blocks away at the Wisconsin town hall who didn't think anybody might Google her name and find out she was really the ex-vice chairman of the county GOP and part of the campaign of the Republican who lost to the Democrat whose town hall she was at that moment helping to disrupt. Or like the smooth-talking hospital corporate titan spreading millions around to enable the hate, knowing that none of the haters will ever realize nor care that they have become prostitutes for the healthcare industries. Like the people who propagated this widely cut and pasted, quote, line-by-line analysis of the Healthcare Reform Act, one that saves right-wingers the trouble of actually reading the bill or thinking about it. This is where the fictions come from, that this is funding ACORN, that it guarantees free health care for illegal immigrants, that it mandates abortions, demands euthanasia. If you read it without knowing the truth, you might shove the right-wingers out of the way at the town halls and start screaming yourself. It seems to have been created by the Liberty Council, an offshoot of Jerry Falwell's Liberty University, a council whose other big policy concern has been the attack on Christmas. And maybe there is the most brazen of them all, that man at the town hall in Connecticut wearing the "We Don't Want Government-Run Health Care" sign above his head while wearing his Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield shirt. You might think it was because he was too stupid to wear something a little less corporately slavish, but given what those around him have read, they not only wouldn't care, they might even take comfort from that logo, that he could boast and that they could hate under the auspices of an actual, caring, friendly, ruthless insurance company. My words, of course, are nothing to Mr. Anthem or Mr. Cornyn or Mr. Dobbs or Ms. Blish or Mr. Scott or the others. This is a job to them. And since we have placed a price tag on everything in this country, there is no soul searching involved. You have a job. If it involves stirring up frightened people to defend the corporation against the citizen, well, you have a salary to earn and a family to feed. The same rationalization that enables mob hitmen to sleep at night. But somewhere in those crowds are genuinely angry and scared people. People who listen to Cornyn or Dobbs or fantasize with Beck about poisoning their way to a Democrat-free world, or who salivate like Pavlovian dogs at the sound of the shrill whistle from Sarah Death Panel Palin. Somewhere in those crowds are some actual people with some actual brains still working and thinking and evaluating. For God's sakes, trust your instinct to think. There are no death panels. There could never be. Were there any steps taken towards them, I and 99.9% of the people in this country, from the fiercest liberal to the most apolitical blob, would be standing next to you preventing their creation. There are no plans to take your insurance away from you. There will be no rationing of care. There will be no health choices commissioner, and he will not be able to transfer money electronically out of your bank account. There will be nobody coming into your house and telling you what to eat. There will be no euthanasia. And the people to whom you are listening with half an ear are telling you half the truth on a good day. The euthanasia scare comes from something as benign as a proposal to let you put in for insurance if you have to consult a doctor about what to do if you or a loved one are fatally ill. If you are where I was last March when I sat down with the doctors to talk about my mother, fatally ill, not awake, not aware, the health care reform will now pay you back for the doctor's fee for that conversation, and it will pay you whether you decide to let your loved one go or you insist to the doctor that they keep that dear one alive at all costs to treat them for months or years or decades more. And this part of this bill actually was originally co-sponsored by a Republican congressman. And from that caring, bipartisan starting point, through her own paranoia or for her own political gain, Sarah Palin has invented the bogeyman of death panels. Think, please, think before something horrible happens. As you move to bellow that which you know not to be true, as you try to shout down a congressman who is there to answer your concerns, as God forbid you think there's been enough talking and not enough of something else. Think of how Lincoln closed his first inaugural address. And remember that wise words stand the test of time. If it were admitted that you who are dissatisfied hold the right side in the dispute, there is still no single good reason for precipitate action. Intelligence, patriotism, Christianity, and a firm reliance on Him who has never yet forsaken this favored land are still competent to adjust, in the best way, all our present difficulty. In your hands, my dissatisfied fellow countrymen, and not in mine, is this momentous issue. The government will not assail you. You can have no conflict without being you yourselves the aggressors. We are not enemies but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic cords of memory, stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and hearthstone all over this broad land, will yet swell the chorus of the Union when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature.